In the vast and endless expanse of space, far beyond the blue skies of Earth, there was a place known as the horizon. The horizon was not a planet or a moon, but an enormous research station that floated silently among the stars. It was a hub of activity, home to scientists, explorers, and representatives from countless alien species. Every year, this station hosted an event called the Galactic Trials, a competition designed to test the limits of skill, intelligence, and endurance. Creatures from across the galaxy came to compete, each hoping to prove themselves superior in some way. The zero-gravity obstacle course was the most talked-about challenge in the entire Galactic Trials. It was infamous for its difficulty and complexity. Suspended in the airless void of space, the course consisted of floating platforms, spinning barriers, and invisible magnetic fields that twisted and turned unpredictably. No matter how skilled or strong a competitor might be, no one had ever completed the course without failing at least once. Some stumbled on the first hurdle, while others made it halfway before being thrown off balance by the shifting forces around them. Over time, the course became less of a contest and more of a symbol, proof that even the best could falter when faced with something truly impossible. This year, however, things were different. Among the competitors stood someone unexpected: Ethan Cole, a human astronaut from Earth. Humans were still relatively new to the galactic stage, having only recently begun exploring beyond their own solar system. Most aliens viewed them as curious but ultimately unremarkable beings. They weren't particularly fast, nor were they especially strong. Their technology lagged behind many advanced civilizations, and their presence at events like the Galactic Trials often went unnoticed. But Ethan was determined to change that perception. Ethan wasn't chosen for the competition by chance. He had earned his spot through sheer determination and hard work. Back on Earth, he had spent months preparing for this moment, training tirelessly in simulated zero-gravity environments. He studied videos of past attempts, analyzing every mistake and failure. What set Ethan apart was his willingness to think differently. While other competitors focused on speed and strength, Ethan realized that success might require a completely new approach. He practiced strange techniques, moving in ways that seemed awkward or counterintuitive at first, but gradually became second nature to him. When Ethan arrived at the horizon, whispers followed him wherever he went. Many doubted whether a human could even survive the grueling course, let alone complete it. Some laughed openly, mocking his smaller frame and lack of visible enhancements. Others simply ignored him, assuming he would fail like so many humans before him. But Ethan didn't care about their opinions. He kept to himself, focusing on his preparations and ignoring the noise around him. Lily Harper, another member of the human delegation, watched Ethan closely. She was younger than him, with sharp eyes and a quick mind. Though she wasn't competing herself, she had been assigned to assist Ethan during the trials. At first, she wasn't sure what to make of him. His quiet confidence bordered on arrogance, yet there was something genuine about his dedication. Over time, she grew to respect him, not just for his ambition, but for his humility. Despite the pressure, Ethan never lost sight of why he was here: to represent humanity and show the galaxy what they were capable of. As the day of the trial approached, excitement filled the air. The arena where the obstacle course took place was a massive dome made of transparent material, allowing spectators to watch from all angles. Representatives from dozens of alien species gathered inside, eager to see who would rise to the occasion. Giant screens displayed close-up views of the course, highlighting its intricate design. Each section pulsed with faint light, creating an eerie glow that made the whole thing look almost alive. Ethan stood quietly near the starting line, dressed in a sleek black suit adorned with Earth's emblem, a simple circle divided into 4 parts representing land, sea, sky, and space. Around him, competitors from other species stretched, flexed, or paced nervously. Some wore elaborate armor or carried high-tech gadgets designed to give them an edge. By comparison, Ethan looked almost plain, his equipment minimal and unassuming. Yet there was a calmness about him that caught the attention of those nearby. He didn't fidget or glance anxiously at the course. Instead, he closed his eyes briefly, taking deep breaths as if centering himself. Lily stood a short distance away, clutching a datapad tightly in her hands. Though she tried to appear composed, her heart raced with anticipation. She knew how much was riding on this moment, not just for Ethan but for all of humanity. If he succeeded, it would send a powerful message to the rest of the galaxy. Failure, on the other hand, would reinforce the stereotypes that humans were weak and insignificant. As the countdown timer ticked closer to 0, Lily whispered a silent prayer, hoping Ethan's preparation would pay off. Finally, the buzzer sounded, signaling the start of the trial. Competitors surged forward, leaping toward the first platform with explosive energy. But Ethan did something no one expected. Instead of facing the course head-on, he turned his body completely around. With his back to the starting point, he announced loudly enough for everyone to hear, "I'll do it backward." The crowd erupted into murmurs of disbelief. Was this some kind of joke, or was Ethan truly serious? Referees exchanged confused glances, unsure whether such a move violated the rules. After a brief discussion, they decided to allow it, intrigued by the boldness of the decision. As Ethan pushed off from the starting line, moving smoothly in reverse, cameras zoomed in to capture every detail. Spectators leaned forward in their seats, captivated by the unfolding spectacle. For better or worse, Ethan Cole had everyone's attention now, and he intended to keep it. Though the course loomed ahead, full of danger and uncertainty, Ethan remained unfazed. Each movement he made was deliberate, calculated, and precise. He twisted his body to avoid collisions, used subtle adjustments to maintain control, and relied on instincts honed through countless hours of practice. To those watching, it seemed almost miraculous how effortlessly he navigated the early obstacles. Even Lily found herself holding her breath, amazed by what she was witnessing. But the real test was yet to come. Deeper sections of the course promised even greater challenges, ones that had defeated countless competitors before. As Ethan ventured further, the stakes grew higher. Would his unconventional strategy hold up under pressure? Or would the relentless demands of the zero-gravity obstacle course finally break him? Only time would tell. Ethan's decision to tackle the zero-gravity obstacle course backward had turned the entire event into a spectacle. Spectators from across the galaxy leaned forward in their seats, their eyes glued to the screens displaying Ethan's every move. Aliens of all shapes and sizes exchanged murmurs of disbelief, curiosity, and even skepticism. Some thought it was a reckless gamble, while others wondered if there was a method to his madness. The referees, though initially hesitant, now watched intently, eager to see how this human would fare against the impossible. The first section of the course was relatively straightforward, a series of floating platforms that shifted position unpredictably. Most competitors approached these platforms with bursts of speed, leaping from one to the next before they could drift too far away. But Ethan moved differently. Facing backward, he relied on peripheral vision and spatial awareness to gauge distances. His movements were smooth and deliberate, almost graceful. He didn't rush or panic when a platform slid out of reach. Instead, he adjusted his trajectory midair, using small thrusters embedded in his suit to stabilize himself before landing safely. Lily Harper stood near the control booth, her hands gripping the railing as she watched Ethan navigate the course. Her heart raced with a mix of pride and anxiety. She knew how much effort Ethan had put into preparing for this moment, but she also understood the risks. One wrong move could send him tumbling into the void, ending his attempt instantly. Still, she couldn't help but marvel at his composure. Even in the chaos of the obstacle course, Ethan remained calm, his focus unshakable. As Ethan progressed, the challenges grew more complex. The second section introduced spinning barriers, large metallic hoops that rotated at varying speeds. Competitors usually timed their jumps carefully, aiming to slip through gaps as the hoops turned. For Ethan, however, moving backward added an extra layer of difficulty. Where others might rely on direct sightlines, he had to trust his instincts and timing. With each rotation of the hoops, he waited for the perfect moment, then launched himself backward, twisting his body to avoid collisions. The crowd gasped each time he narrowly avoided disaster, his movements precise and controlled. One alien spectator, a tall, insect-like creature with shimmering wings, leaned over to its companion, and clicked its mandibles in approval. "This, human. He is not like the others," it said in a raspy voice. Its companion, a hulking reptilian being with scales that glinted under the artificial lights, grunted in agreement. "Perhaps we underestimated them," it replied, its deep voice rumbling like distant thunder. Around them, other aliens began to take notice, their initial mockery giving way to reluctant admiration. Meanwhile, tensions simmered among the human delegation. Lily caught snippets of conversation from nearby teams, many of whom still doubted Ethan's chances. A representative from the Zorathians, a species known for their advanced technology, sneered openly. "Humans are too primitive for this," he said, his tone dripping with disdain. "Their bodies are weak, their minds slow. This display is nothing but a fluke." Lily bristled at the comment but forced herself to stay calm. Turning to face the Zorathian, she replied firmly, "You shouldn't judge someone until you've seen what they're truly capable of." Her words drew a few curious glances, but the Zorathian merely scoffed and turned away. Lily clenched her fists briefly before refocusing on Ethan, determined not to let negativity distract her. Back on the course, Ethan faced a new challenge, a field of floating debris that drifted lazily through the air. These pieces of metal and plastic were harmless on their own, but together they formed a chaotic maze that required quick reflexes and careful navigation. Most competitors approached this section head-on, weaving between the obstacles with bursts of speed. Ethan, however, took a different approach. Moving backward allowed him to see patterns in the movement of the debris, anticipating where gaps would form moments before they appeared. He twisted and turned with surprising agility, avoiding collisions without breaking stride. The crowd's reaction shifted noticeably during this segment. What had started as skeptical muttering evolved into genuine excitement. Even the most critical observers found themselves leaning forward, captivated by Ethan's performance. His unconventional strategy wasn't just working, it was redefining what seemed possible. For the first time in the history of the galactic trials, someone was making real progress on the zero-gravity obstacle course. Despite his success so far, Ethan wasn't immune to fatigue. The physical demands of the course were immense, requiring constant adjustments to maintain balance and momentum. Sweat beaded on his forehead, and his breathing grew heavier with each passing minute, yet he refused to slow down. Each obstacle cleared only fueled his determination to push further. He reminded himself of why he was here, not just to prove himself but to show the galaxy that humans were capable of greatness. Lily noticed the strain in Ethan's movements and felt a pang of worry. She knew he was pushing himself to the limit, and the hardest parts of the course still lay ahead. The abyss chamber, the final and most dangerous section, loomed in the distance, a yawning chasm filled with swirling debris and fluctuating gravity fields. Many competitors had fallen victim to its treacherous conditions, unable to recover once they lost their footing. As Ethan approached this daunting challenge, Lily whispered a silent prayer, hoping he had enough strength left to overcome it. For now, though, Ethan focused on the present. The next segment of the course involved a series of magnetic fields that altered gravity in unpredictable ways. One moment, competitors might feel pulled downward, as if standing on solid ground. The next, they could find themselves floating, weightlessly or even flipped upside down. Navigating this section required adaptability and quick thinking, qualities that Ethan possessed in abundance. As he entered the magnetic zone, Ethan felt the familiar tug of shifting forces. His body tilted sideways, then upward before stabilizing momentarily. Rather than fighting the changes, he embraced them, using the fluctuations to his advantage. When the gravity reversed, pulling him toward what should have been the ceiling, Ethan flipped his body gracefully, maintaining his backward orientation without missing a beat. The crowd erupted into cheers, their skepticism replaced by awe. Even the referees, who had initially questioned Ethan's decision to go backward, now nodded in approval. They recognized skill when they saw it, and Ethan's performance was undeniable. Though the course was far from complete, he had already achieved something remarkable. He had captured the attention and respect of an entire arena filled with doubters. As Ethan prepared to tackle the final sections of the course, his mind remained clear and focused. He knew the hardest challenges were yet to come, but he also knew he had the tools to face them. With Lily watching anxiously from the sidelines and the eyes of the galaxy upon him, Ethan pushed forward, ready to defy the odds. Once again, the deeper Ethan ventured into the zero-gravity obstacle course, the more dangerous and unpredictable it became. The magnetic fields that had tested his adaptability were now behind him, but ahead lay even greater challenges, ones that had broken countless competitors before. Despite the mounting difficulty, Ethan's resolve never wavered. His movements remained steady and deliberate, each action a testament to months of preparation and unwavering determination. One of the most daunting sections of the course was a series of oscillating laser beams. These thin, glowing lines crisscrossed the air in erratic patterns, shifting speed and direction without warning. Competitors typically approach this segment with bursts of agility, weaving through the beams as quickly as possible. For Ethan, moving backward added an extra layer of complexity. He couldn't rely on direct sight lines to anticipate where the beams would appear next. Instead, he trusted his instincts and peripheral vision, timing his movements with precision. As the lasers began to flicker and dance, Ethan slowed his pace slightly, observing their rhythm. He noticed subtle patterns in their motion, small pauses between sweeps, predictable arcs that repeated after a few seconds. Using this knowledge, he launched himself backward, twisting his body to avoid collisions. The crowd held its breath as he slipped through the first gap, then the second, then the third. Each successful dodge drew louder gasps and cheers from the spectators. Even the aliens who had initially dismissed him now leaned forward, captivated by his performance. Lily Harper watched intently from the sidelines, her heart pounding with every close call. She could see the strain on Ethan's face, the beads of sweat forming on his skin despite the cool temperature of the arena. Yet there was no hesitation in his movements, no sign of doubt or fear. He moved with a fluidity that seemed almost unnatural, as if he had rehearsed this exact sequence countless times. In truth, he hadn't, but his training had prepared him for moments like this, when quick thinking and adaptability were crucial. Ethan cleared the laser beams just as one of them zipped past his shoulder, missing him by mere inches. The crowd erupted into applause, their skepticism replaced by genuine admiration. A group of insectoid beings nearby clicked their mandibles excitedly, while a reptilian alien with glowing eyes let out a low growl of approval. Even the Zerathian, who had mocked humans earlier, wore an expression of reluctant respect. Though they still doubted humanity's overall capabilities, they couldn't deny that Ethan was proving himself exceptional. Beyond the laser beams lay another perilous section, a stretch of floating platforms connected by narrow bridges made of light. These bridges shimmered faintly, giving the illusion of solidity, but they offered no real support. Competitors had to cross them using precise jumps, timing their landings carefully to avoid falling into the void below. Many had misjudged the distance or failed to maintain balance, tumbling off the course entirely. Ethan knew this part would test not only his physical skills, but also his mental focus. Facing backward, Ethan approached the first bridge cautiously. He gauged the distance between platforms, estimating how much force he would need to propel himself forward, or rather backward. With a deep breath, he pushed off from the starting platform, landing squarely on the next one. The crowd murmured in approval, impressed by his accuracy. But Ethan didn't pause to celebrate. He immediately launched himself toward the next platform, then the next, each jump smoother than the last. What set Ethan apart from other competitors was his ability to remain calm under pressure. While others might rush or panic, he took his time, ensuring each movement was deliberate and controlled. This patience paid off as he reached the final platform in the sequence, touching down lightly without a single misstep. Spectators cheered wildly, their excitement reaching new heights. Even Lily allowed herself a brief smile, though she knew the hardest parts of the course still lay ahead. The next challenge was perhaps the most infamous, a corridor filled with swirling vortexes of energy. These vortexes pulled competitors in random directions, spinning them uncontrollably until they lost all sense of orientation. Many had been ejected from the course entirely, flung into the surrounding void by the chaotic forces. Ethan understood the danger better than most, having studied videos of past attempts. He knew that brute strength wouldn't help him here. Instead, he would need to ride the currents, letting them guide him rather than fighting against them. As Ethan entered the corridor, the vortexes immediately sprang to life, tugging at his suit and threatening to send him spinning. For a moment, he felt disoriented, his body twisting in ways he couldn't control. But he quickly regained his composure, relaxing into the chaos. Rather than resisting the pull, he allowed the vortexes to carry him, using their momentum to navigate the corridor. When one vortex threatened to throw him off course, he adjusted his position mid-air, redirecting himself toward the exit. The crowd watched in stunned silence as Ethan surfed the swirling energies, his movements almost balletic. It was as if he had found harmony within the chaos, turning what should have been a disadvantage into an asset. By the time he emerged from the corridor, the entire arena was on its feet, cheering wildly. Aliens of all species clapped and roared their approval, their earlier doubts erased by Ethan's extraordinary display of skill. Lily felt tears welling up in her eyes as she watched Ethan step onto the final platform before the abyss chamber. He was so close now, closer than anyone had ever come to completing the course. Yet she knew better than to celebrate prematurely. The abyss chamber was the ultimate test, a yawning chasm filled with swirling debris and fluctuating gravity fields. Countless competitors had fallen victim to its treacherous conditions, unable to recover once they lost their footing. As Ethan prepared to enter this final trial, Lily whispered a silent prayer, hoping he had enough strength left to overcome it. For Ethan, fatigue was becoming harder to ignore. His muscles ached, and his breathing grew heavier with each passing second. But he refused to let exhaustion slow him down. Every obstacle he had cleared so far had brought him one step closer to his goal, and he wasn't about to give up now. Taking a deep breath, he steadied himself and propelled forward, or rather backward, into the abyss chamber. The chamber was unlike anything Ethan had encountered before. Debris of all shapes and sizes floated aimlessly, carried by invisible currents. Gravity pockets shifted unpredictably, pulling him in different directions at once. To make matters worse, the floor was non-existent, leaving nothing but empty space beneath him. One wrong move could send him plummeting into the void, ending his attempt instantly. But Ethan didn't panic. Instead, he focused on the task at hand, breaking the challenge down into manageable pieces. He activated small thrusters on his suit, stabilizing himself as he assessed the situation. Then, with careful precision, he launched himself across the gap, dodging chunks of metal and plastic as they drifted toward him. His backward orientation gave him a unique advantage, allowing him to see hazards before they became threats. The crowd watched in awe as Ethan navigated the chamber, his movements fluid and calculated. When a large shard of debris hurtled toward him, he twisted his body gracefully, avoiding collision by mere inches. When a sudden shift in gravity pulled him sideways, he adjusted his trajectory mid-air, regaining control before he could drift too far. Each success brought him closer to the other side where the finish line awaited. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Ethan reached the final platform. He landed lightly, his chest heaving as he caught his breath. The crowd fell silent, waiting to see if he would truly complete the course. Slowly, deliberately, Ethan extended his hand to touch the glowing finish marker. A deafening cheer erupted as the system confirmed his completion, flawlessly. No one could believe it. Not only had a human completed the zero-gravity obstacle course, but he had done so in a way no one thought possible. The arena buzzed with excitement, aliens of all species applauding Ethan's achievement. Even the Zorathians who had mocked humans earlier joined in the celebration, their expressions filled with reluctant admiration. Lily rushed to Ethan's side, tears streaming down her face as she hugged him tightly. "You did it," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "You actually did it." Ethan smiled weakly, exhausted but triumphant. "We did it," he corrected her, his voice hoarse but full of pride. This isn't just my victory, it's ours. Ethan's triumph over the zero-gravity obstacle course sent shockwaves through the Horizon station and beyond. The news of his achievement spread quickly, reaching every corner of the orbital research facility and sparking conversations among its diverse inhabitants. Aliens who had once dismissed humans as insignificant now found themselves discussing Ethan's performance with a mix of admiration and curiosity. For the first time, humanity was being taken seriously on the galactic stage. Back on the Horizon, Ethan became an instant celebrity. Reporters from various species swarmed around him, eager to capture his thoughts and reactions. Their questions came rapid-fire, ranging from technical inquiries about his training methods to philosophical musings on what his success meant for interstellar relations. Ethan handled the attention with grace, speaking calmly and thoughtfully despite his exhaustion. He credited his success not to individual brilliance but to teamwork, innovation, and the human spirit's ability to adapt and persevere. Lily Harper stood nearby, watching as Ethan fielded question after question. She felt a swell of pride knowing that she had played a part in his journey, even if only behind the scenes. Her role may not have been as visible as Ethan's, but she knew that her support and encouragement had made a difference. As the crowd began to thin out, she approached him, offering a bottle of water and a quiet smile. "You handled that well," she said, her voice soft but filled with admiration. "I don't think I've ever seen so many aliens paying attention to anything a human has done." Ethan chuckled, taking a sip of water before responding. "It's strange, isn't it? A few hours ago, most of them probably didn't even know we existed. Now they can't stop talking about us." He paused, glancing at the gathered aliens still milling about the arena. "But this isn't just about me or you or even humanity. It's about showing that thinking differently can lead to breakthroughs. Maybe it'll inspire others to try new approaches too." Lily nodded, her expression thoughtful. "Do you think they'll start treating us differently now?" "I hope so," Ethan replied. "But change doesn't happen overnight. This is just the beginning. We've shown them what we're capable of, but there's still a lot of work to do if we want to earn their respect long term." As the days passed, the impact of Ethan's victory became clearer. Delegations from several alien species requested meetings with the human team, hoping to learn more about their methods and mindset. Some were curious about Ethan's unconventional strategy, while others wanted to understand how humans had managed to overcome physical limitations that seemed insurmountable. Lily accompanied Ethan to these meetings, acting as both translator and advocate. Together, they explained the importance of creativity, collaboration, and perseverance, values deeply ingrained in human culture. One particularly memorable meeting involved representatives from the Zyran species, known for their competitive nature and advanced technology. The Zyrans were initially skeptical, questioning whether Ethan's success could be replicated by others. They argued that his backward approach might have been a fluke, a one-time anomaly rather than a sustainable technique. Ethan listened patiently before responding. "It wasn't just about going backward," he explained. "It was about looking at the problem from a different angle, finding solutions that others hadn't considered. That's something anyone can do, no matter their species or background." The Zyrans exchanged glances, clearly intrigued. Though they didn't fully embrace Ethan's philosophy, they acknowledged the merit in his words. By the end of the meeting, they invited the human delegation to collaborate on future projects, marking a significant shift in their attitude toward humanity. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Ethan's story captured the imagination of billions. News outlets broadcast footage of his attempt repeatedly, highlighting his ingenuity and determination. People across the planet celebrated his victory, seeing it as proof that humans could compete and excel on the galactic stage. Politicians praised his achievement, using it as an example of what could be accomplished when nations work together toward a common goal. Even critics of space exploration found themselves inspired, recognizing the potential for unity and progress in Ethan's success. For Ethan, however, fame was secondary to the larger implications of his accomplishment. He returned to his duties aboard the Horizon, continuing his work with the same humility and dedication that had defined him before the trials. Though offers poured in, from lucrative endorsements to leadership roles within Earth's space program, he declined them all, choosing instead to focus on advancing humanity's presence in the galaxy. Lily admired Ethan's decision, though she sometimes worried about the pressure he faced. As the face of humanity's achievements, he carried the hopes and expectations of an entire species on his shoulders, yet he never let it overwhelm him. Instead, he used it as motivation to push further, exploring new ways to contribute to the mission. Together, Ethan and Lily embarked on a series of initiatives aimed at fostering cooperation between humans and other species. They organized workshops where scientists and engineers from different planets shared knowledge and ideas, breaking down barriers that had long divided them. They also advocated for policies promoting mutual understanding and respect, emphasizing the importance of diversity in solving universal challenges. Their efforts paid off in unexpected ways. Slowly but surely, attitudes began to shift. Humans were no longer seen as outsiders or underdogs. They were recognized as valuable members of the galactic community. Alien diplomats who had once ignored humanity now sought partnerships, eager to benefit from their unique perspectives and innovative approaches. Even the Zorathians, who had mocked Ethan during the trials, extended an olive branch, inviting humans to participate in joint research projects. Through it all, Ethan remained grounded, refusing to let success go to his head. He often reminded himself and others that his victory was not the end of the journey but the beginning of something greater. Humanity had proven itself capable of greatness, but true progress would require ongoing effort and collaboration. With Lily by his side, he vowed to continue pushing boundaries, exploring uncharted territories, and inspiring others to dream bigger. As weeks turned into months, life aboard the Horizon settled into a rhythm of discovery and growth. Ethan and Lily worked tirelessly, driven by the belief that their actions could shape the future of interstellar relations. They faced challenges along the way, misunderstandings, setbacks, moments of doubt, but they never lost sight of their mission. Each obstacle they overcame brought them closer to their ultimate goal, a galaxy united by shared purpose and mutual respect. And so, Ethan Cole's story became legend, a testament to the power of courage, creativity, and determination. His backward journey through the zero-gravity obstacle course had not only redefined what was possible, but also paved the way for a brighter future among the stars. For humanity, it was a reminder that greatness lay not in strength or speed, but in the ability to think differently, to embrace uncertainty, and to rise above limitations. Months after Ethan Cole's historic victory in the zero-gravity obstacle course, the Horizon Station had transformed into a hub of unprecedented activity. The humans, once considered outsiders, were now at the center of interstellar collaboration. Alien species that had previously dismissed Earth's inhabitants as primitive or unremarkable now sought partnerships with them. Ethan and Lily Harper became symbols of this newfound respect, their names mentioned in conversations across the galaxy. Ethan continued his work aboard the Horizon, focusing on projects that brought together scientists, engineers, and thinkers from diverse backgrounds. His approach was simple yet effective. He encouraged open dialogue, urging everyone to share ideas and perspectives freely. He believed that innovation thrived when people worked together, combining their strengths to solve problems. This philosophy resonated deeply with many, leading to breakthroughs that benefited not just humanity, but all participating species. Lily played a crucial role in these efforts, acting as both a mediator and a bridge between humans and aliens. She spent countless hours translating complex concepts into terms others could understand, ensuring no one felt excluded or misunderstood. Her ability to connect with people, regardless of their species or culture, earned her widespread admiration. Together, Ethan and Lily formed a partnership that inspired those around them, proving that progress was possible when individuals set aside differences and focused on shared goals. One of the most significant outcomes of Ethan's success was the creation of the Intergalactic Innovation Council. This council brought together representatives from various species to tackle challenges facing the galaxy, from resource shortages to environmental crises. Ethan was appointed as one of its founding members, a role he accepted with humility and determination. He saw it as an opportunity to build on the momentum generated by his victory, using it to drive meaningful change. The Council's first major project involved developing sustainable energy solutions for planets struggling with dwindling resources. Ethan proposed a collaborative approach, inviting experts from multiple species to contribute their knowledge and expertise. The result was a groundbreaking fusion reactor design that combined human ingenuity with alien technology. When the prototype was unveiled, it received widespread acclaim, hailed as a model of what could be achieved through cooperation. As word of the Council's success spread, more species joined the initiative, eager to participate in future projects. Even the Xyrans, who had initially been skeptical of humanity's contributions, became active members, offering insights that proved invaluable. Their advanced understanding of quantum mechanics complemented human creativity, leading to innovations that none could have achieved alone. Despite the growing recognition, Ethan remained grounded. He often reminded himself and others that his journey was far from over. Completing the obstacle course backward had been a milestone, but it was only the beginning of a much larger mission. Humanity still had much to learn, and Ethan was determined to ensure they approached this learning process with humility and openness. Lily shared Ethan's vision, dedicating herself fully to the cause. She organized workshops and seminars aimed at fostering mutual understanding between species. These events provided opportunities for participants to share their cultures, traditions, and histories, breaking down barriers that had long divided them. Over time, friendships formed, trust grew, and the sense of unity strengthened. One such event took place aboard the Horizon itself. Representatives from dozens of species gathered in a large dome-shaped auditorium, exchanging stories and experiences. Humans showcased their art, music, and literature, while aliens demonstrated their unique customs and technologies. The atmosphere was one of celebration and discovery, a stark contrast to the skepticism and rivalry that had characterized earlier interactions. During the event, Ethan delivered a speech that resonated deeply with the audience. Standing before a crowd of curious faces, he spoke of the importance of embracing diversity and working together toward common goals. "We are all explorers," he said, his voice steady and sincere. "Each of us comes from different worlds, with different histories and ways of thinking. But we share something fundamental, a desire to understand, to create, and to grow. That is our strength. By coming together, we can achieve things none of us could accomplish alone." His words drew applause from the entire room, echoing long after he finished speaking. Many attendees approached him afterward, expressing gratitude for his message. Some even credited him with changing their perspective on humanity, saying they now saw Earth's inhabitants not as competitors, but as partners. Beyond the horizon, Ethan's influence extended to Earth itself. His story inspired countless individuals to pursue careers in science, engineering, and exploration. Schools introduced programs focused on space travel and interstellar relations, encouraging young minds to dream big. Politicians championed policies promoting international cooperation, recognizing that humanity's future depended on its ability to unite. Even skeptics who had doubted Ethan's methods during the trials came to appreciate his impact. A former critic, a high-ranking official within Earth's government, publicly apologized for doubting Ethan's potential. "I was wrong about him," the official admitted during a press conference. "Ethan didn't just represent humanity. He redefined what it means to be human." His courage and creativity remind us that greatness lies not in conquering others, but in lifting each other up. Despite the accolades, Ethan never lost sight of why he had embarked on this journey in the first place. For him, it wasn't about fame or recognition. It was about making a difference. He knew there would be challenges ahead, moments when progress seemed slow or uncertain, but he also knew that perseverance and teamwork could overcome any obstacle. Lily felt the same way. Though she sometimes worried about the immense responsibility resting on their shoulders, she found solace in knowing they weren't alone. Together, they had built a network of allies who shared their vision, people committed to creating a better future for all. With each passing day, their mission gained momentum, drawing in more supporters and generating tangible results. As years passed, the legacy of Ethan's victory continued to shape the galaxy. New generations of explorers followed in his footsteps, venturing into uncharted territories with the same spirit of curiosity and determination. Humanity's presence among the stars grew stronger, marked by achievements that once seemed impossible. From terraforming barren planets to establishing peaceful trade routes, humans played a vital role in shaping the galactic landscape. Through it all, Ethan and Lily remained steadfast in their commitment to progress. They faced setbacks and hardships, but they never wavered in their belief that collaboration and innovation could lead to a brighter tomorrow. Their story served as a reminder that true greatness wasn't measured by individual accomplishments, but by the positive impact one could have on the world, or in this case, the universe. And so, Ethan Cole's name became synonymous with hope and possibility. His decision to tackle the zero-gravity obstacle course backward had sparked a chain reaction, inspiring countless others to think differently, aim higher, and strive for excellence. It was a testament to the power of courage, creativity, and unity, a legacy that would endure for generations to come.